All right, Nicholas, my boy, what would you like to do today? Here you go. You gotta explain to me. Yo, cut. Don't be nervous.
I'm a little bit nervous. No, I'm just playing. Taper. You know, the usual.
You don't even know what to say.
Keep the length on the beard.
Okay.
You know.
Gotcha.
Get me right, Dre.
Just blend it in.
You already know.
All right, YouTube. I was just playing. I know what he gets. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a low mid taper. We're gonna lower his undercut to like a 1.5, and then he said he wants to keep the length on the beard. So we're gonna go ahead and line it up, make it super clean. Let's get into it. So what you want to do when you're cutting someone with undercut that has really long hair on top and the part line is important is you want to make sure that you separate the long from the short hair, because you don't want to cause any unevenness in the parting. And then after we have it separated, we're going to go ahead and knock it down to a 1.5 all the way around. And I found pretty much universally the 1.5 is what most people with this type of look want to go down to. It's not super short to where, you know, it looks bald, but it's short enough to where, you know, it's dark enough to catch a nice line and have a nice blend as well. And depending on some people's hair texture, it might be thinner, so you might have to do like a 2 or a 3. But we're making sure we just knock everything down to that 1.5 all the way around. And you'll notice I'm using that comb to kind of keep the hair up so I don't risk the chance of cutting it, especially behind the ear right here, since it's such a little area to work with. And now we're going to move on to our taper. So we're going to set in our bald line with our Gamma Cyborgs, which I just got. They're super fire. If you guys are interested in a review on these trimmers, let me know down in the comments. But I definitely recommend these. As you can see, we set in that bald line a little below the bottom of the ear. And we're just going over, getting rid of all those little hairs. And I like to look at these as a little bit better than the sabers. I don't know why. I think they're really the same clipper with different bodies, but for some reason, you know, my cyborgs hit a lot harder. And I was just coming in with my shaver to get it nice and close to this skin. And you'll see I'm cutting sideways with that shaver to get it really close. And now we're going to move on to the lever open. And you want to set in this lever open about a finger's width. And that is usually what I like to do when setting in my guidelines, because it gives me a nice gradual stretched out blend. And now to start getting rid of that line in the middle, I'm going to go ahead and close that lever, and then we'll open it up little by little. So we're closed. Now we open it up a quarter of the way. And I believe we opened it up a little bit more. And now we're going to move on to our one guard with that lever open. And this one guard should blend right into that 1.5. So we're just going up a little below the top of that part line. And now we're going to start blending down. And this taper is super easy. You're really only blending into a 1.5, which makes it very simple. And now I went ahead and closed that one guard to lighten up that line. And this taper is pretty much already blended out. But there is a faint line that we're going to go back and touch up with our half guard lever open, as you can see right here. And I'll start off open and then close it little by little, and that'll get us done with this back taper. Super simple, super easy. It literally should only take a couple minutes to do this taper, if that. And now we're going to move on to the taper on the temple, and we're going to establish our bald line right at the end of the ear and where the eyebrow kind of ends off, and we're going to give it that bird shape. And I always give my tapers that shape if they're you know, mid to low tapers, because it helps to keep the edges dark when we go ahead and do the lineup. And I'm using my shaver to get it extra close to the skin and really make that taper pop. And now we're going to follow that same exact system. That lever open, then the one guard open, and then we'll blend down. And we don't switch up. We use this same process on every hair texture, every haircut. And then, you know, if we need to go back in detail and adjust, we'll do so. But really what it's all about is finding that system, finding that process that works for you, and then becoming a master at it. And then you guys always ask the question, man, how do you get faster at cutting hair? Find a system that works for you and perfect it. And then you'll get quicker and quicker at it. And now we're at our half guard with that lever open, and we'll close it little by little. And as you can see, man, we're almost done with this taper. It's super simple. Just applying that pressure, following that system. This taper is coming together. Using a lot of the corner of the blade to get into those dark areas as well. And now we're going to blend into the beard. And all blending into the beard is a reverse taper. So we're going ahead, lever open, then getting rid of that line in between. And then as you would guess, we're going to grab our one guard with that lever open and do the same thing. And we're just blending into the bulk on his beard. Like he said, he wants to keep it. And so far, this cut is going crazy. And now we're at the 1.5. Finishing off that blend. And that finishes it up with the left side. Now we're going to move on to his right side. And I'll tell you, with this right side, especially in this temple area, his hair is a lot thinner. And I don't know if you even notice on his hairline right here as well. It's a little farther back. So with this taper, one thing I wish I would have done is keep it a little lower on this side. So I would have kept the top of the taper darker. But, you know, I did where the ear connects to the head and where the eyebrow ends, because I was following that system. But I wish I would have just been more considerate of, you know, his hair and how it was growing. So you'll see this taper as we go through our process and we finish up, it looks a lot higher than the other side. But we're gonna go ahead and fix it and finesse it and get them right. So now we did the lever open, and we're gonna get rid of that line in the middle by closing that lever all the way and then opening it up little by little. And I'll tell you what, that's one thing about being a good barber, is you have to admit kind of where you could have done better. Right, I didn't mess him up. I didn't send bro out of the chair looking crazy, but I'm acknowledging the fact that, man, I could have did this a lot better. So that way, you know, next cut when he comes in, I can ice him. I could get exactly how I want it, how he wants it. And that's how you get better. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be willing to accept criticism, and then, you know, pivot and adjust from there. And now we're finishing off the taper with this half guard, and you'll see that it looks a little bit higher on this side as I was explaining. But once we put the lineup on there, since we did keep the edges dark, it doesn't look as high. But the taper still came out clean. And now we're going to blend into the beard. Like I said, it's just a reverse taper. And I'll tell you what, man, these magic clips are hitting. This definitely, man, like I said, the magic clips will always have a special place in my heart. Just because it really was the first clipper outside of my masters that I had that was cordless, you know what I'm saying? And I just feel like you can't go wrong with the seniors, the magic clips or whatever. They just cut really well. They cut bulk off with no problem. And you can just go crazy, you feel me? You go crazy. And now we're going to get into the lineup. So we're going to come in and line up his vertical bar first. And that just helps keep everything symmetrical, for me at least. And then I'm going to start at the top of the arch. And I believe I go to the bottom and meet those 2 points in the middle, just like I did right here. And that always, having reference points always allows me to keep, you know, everything as clean and as natural as possible. And now we're going to line up his nape area. So we're starting at the top of the ear, and we're going to work our way towards the bottom. And with tapers especially, the lineup always acts as the frame to it. It really makes the taper come together. It brings out any imperfections that you might need to go back and detail. But as you can see, that taper is looking super clean. And now we're going to go ahead and line up his right side as well. So we're starting at the top of the arch and then going to the bottom and meeting those 2 points. And like I said, back of the ear, and then we'll work our way down. And as you can see, these sideboards, man, is eating right through the hair with no problem, causing very little to no irritation on the client's skin, especially once you have them set right. And I'm liking the silver with the blue light, man. I think it looks tough. And now I forgot to record the other side of the lineup, so I'm starting in the middle and moving towards his left. And it's lighter there, so there's not much to do. We're just gonna make it, you know, sharper and give it the illusion of it looking dark. And now we're gonna move towards his right side. And you can see once we put the line on everything, like I said, that taper doesn't look as high as it originally did, which definitely worked out in our favor here. And you see your boy is locked in, trying to get my guy Nick together. And now we're gonna go ahead and sauce him up, man. Really enhance this cut. So we're gonna come in with our Kiss Express enhancement and our barber plug card, and we're just gonna apply it little by little. You always want to start off light and then darken it up as needed. You don't want to, you know, Sharpie it on because it's gonna be a pain in the butt to take off. But you can see it's blending right into the hair, nothing too crazy. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my Tune 45 Barber pencil, and I'm using the white side, and I'm just using it right on the line. And one thing I learned from Get Beamed is to make the line with the white pencil thinner. It makes it a lot easier to blend into the skin. So I took some advice on that, and now we're gonna use our trimmer to blend it in. And it kind of just gives the hairline, you know, like an HD effect. It gives some contrast between the dark hair and the lighter skin. And that's really all it is, man. It's temporary, but so is the haircut. The haircut always gonna grow back, just like the enhancements will eventually watch out, you feel me? So now we're gonna lower his mustache down to a 1 guard open. And I usually take almost everyone's mustache down to this length unless they want to keep it darker, because I feel like, you know, it gives it a nice clean look while still keeping the mustache dark. You don't want to make it too light. I'm gonna use my trimmer to clean up the top. And a trick I like to do is use my shaver right at the top, so I don't have to cut through a whole bunch of hair when I come in with my razor. And for the beard, I always like to recline them when lining up the back and the bottom. So that's what I'm doing right here, trying to keep that as wide as possible. Really make that beard look super diesel. Know what I'm saying? Now we'll line up the bottom. One thing about my guy Nick, man, is he has a really good beard. So he's making me look better than what I really am. So we're lining up the back on this side as well. And these trimmers are going crazy, man. I'm trying to tell you, if you want to cop some for yourself, you can use code Drake Clipper Hands on either the barberplug.com or stylecraft or gamma.com, and we got you with that discount. And when using the razor, you want to make sure that you stretch the skin in the opposite direction of which you are using it, because all we're trying to do here is get rid of all those little hairs that the trimmer couldn't really get. So you don't want to cause any irritation or cuts. You want to achieve this with finesse, you feel me? So now for the beard, I always like to have them blow a bubble for the portion of the beard that's towards the lip. And that's just to make sure, you know, to keep it as high as I can. And then we'll go to the top and meet those 2 points in the middle. Very similar to how I do the arch, giving myself those reference points so I don't dip down into the beard too much. And I wiped away that initial ash line and relined it. And as you can see, that beard is going crazy. Now we're just freehanding it, making it look super clean and full. And we definitely got my guy Nick back in the game. But fam, this time my guy came in looking super lost, but now he's looking found. So you know we have to get my guy together. Listen, if this video helped you in any way, shape, or form, hit that like and subscribe button. And I will catch y'all next time. Peace.